Okay, so I'm going to show you what we can do now with the new style galleries with my Store Locator Plus with 4.7.3. So I'm running this all on the Dash Beta site, and it is pulling a version of MU plugins that's been updated to be compatible with 4.7.3. So we can see here my restaurants site. This is running my beta version, and the layout's not that great. If I actually just go on the server, I can show you that is nothing more than a pull of the script directly from my Store Locator Plus. There's nothing else on that page. So what I want to do is I want to create a nicer style, and we can now do this with absolutely zero updates to the My Store Locator Plus code base or the Store Locator Plus code base. This will work with actually both products. And the way it works is there's actually a Premier Service plugin running on the main www site for Store Locator Plus, and in it there's a locator styles. That's the style gallery, and I can pick any of these styles and duplicate it. So I've already started this process. I've taken this default style and I've duplicated it, and that's created a copy of it here that I've renamed and just said default with font tweaks. Added some text here that's going to show up on the user interface, and all of the structure goes here inside the custom fields. So now I can change the structure that will be given to the user when they deploy this plugin style without having to actually do any updates to the product itself. This is all just going to be served right from the REST server. And so I've just left everything intact. The only thing I've changed here is the CSS file. Now the way this works, this is going to actually pull a CSS file from the style gallery directory. It's actually a setting that's built into the plugin. And the reason I've done that is I want to be able to use the IDEs and our tools for building SAS style sheets without having to go through and do all sorts of craziness here in the product itself. So I've just set the name of the file that I'm going to use, default with fonts. So I've created this style and I've published this out here. Now I'm going to go create the CSS style sheet. So I have the style directory repo running here on my dev box, and I've just copied the default SCSS and I've renamed it default with fonts SCSS. This has all of the Devrick starter theme components in it under the SAS directory, so you've got Foundation 6 and all that sort of stuff if you want to use it. I'm not going to employ that here. And I'm just using my IDE's SCSS compiler to create the CSS file, and then of course I have the Minify app running as well, and it's this Minify file it's going to look for first when the style gallery loads. So what I've done in here is I've just added some rules to help make that UI a little bit nicer, like adding borders to the boxes and setting line heights. And a lot of these rules were already in the default theme, but I've just done things to like set default font, for example, in the entire Store Locator Plus div, and stylize some of the UI. So I let this compile, and I just push it with my repository here and get it out to the server. So I've actually pushed the changes here, and you can see some of the tweaks I've done down here for this file. So once I've pushed that to the repo, I come over to the Store Locator Plus server. And I'm just going to go into the style gallery. And this is basically just a repository of all the CSS that works with that locator style. And I just do a get pull, which I think I've already done, and it's going to have all the latest style sheets over here. So that's fetching the latest updates. There we go, it is already up to date. You can see all my minified files here. So this is the one it's actually going to pull and send to the user in inline CSS. So I've got that all set up, and the next thing I want to do is just come over here, and thanks to security caching everything, I need to come in here and go to the Premier Service tool and just clear. This is actually an API to security. It's just going to clear their cache. And without clearing the cache, it'll take up to 24 hours before those new styles show up for the user. All right, so back to my Store Locator Plus. No code updates, just the CSS publications through the Get repo. And here we have now the new style here, default with font tweaks. The user any user now will see that in their Store Locator Plus or My Store Locator Plus under Experience View. This is under Advanced Options, by the way, for My Store Locator Plus users. And they can actually set this as the style. And just by coming in here and clicking that button, my website now will be updated with the latest style. Of course, I'm not a great UX guy, so hopefully we'll get some of the people at DevRix to help us create some really cool looking interfaces with this. But here's the revised one with the new fonts and everything on there. So again, no code updates. We can now have our user experience guys create layouts and create the matching CSS completely independent from code updates. As I said, this style gallery repo is really just a CSS repo, and then the rest of it's just done through WordPress admin interface here. And I can give anyone that wants logins to create some new interface designs for the DOM structure access to this, and they can create their own. And that's it. It'll be published to everyone out there. So that's what I've been working on to make this a lot easier to create some pretty slick looking interfaces. The other cool part, which I haven't played with yet, is we can also make it so that you can one-click and deploy an entire experience. Set things like the radius, set JSON map styles internally, turn on or turn off cluster map markers, so we can actually create fully deployable experiences for the map and basically give our users something that's just, hey, load up your locations, click one of these buttons and get this style interface. Also, you'll see some of these. For example, this account I have, I cannot deploy this specific one because it is a Premier or enterprise level deployment as well. So we also have the ability to mark different deployments as Premier only. So that's what I've been working on. Hopefully we get a lot nicer user experience out of the box for our users without having to learn the product. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.